What up? What up? Welcome back to 49 Faithfully. We're your hosts, Miriah Lee and Teran Lewis. And today we're joined by very special guest. You guys know him as Tony from Nothing But Niners. Fellas, what's up? Good to see you guys.
What up?
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
For sure.
Thanks for being here. It's been a while since we got to chat it up with you. So, what better day than to have you on? First official day of the 24-25 season. And yeah, there's lots of moves already happening in free agency. So we got a lot to talk about. Chat, what's up? Good to see you all. I know it's been a while. Some of you that are around Twitter, X, or that seen my post on YouTube, I do not want to talk about it. But if you saw it, you know what was going on. You know why I haven't been here. Like I said, I don't want to discuss it. I can't talk about it. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But good to see you guys. To enter the first giveaway, hashtag free, FREE, as in free agency. Get in there. Let's see who we got in here. I know there's a couple shows going on right now as well. So those that come in, you guys will have a better chance of winning the first giveaway. Ty, what's good? Ty is supposed to be here, but you know, he just shows up to the chat instead. That's okay. Maria, what's up, Maria? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, sis. Daniel Barry, what's good? Danny, what up? Don, of course, Don's gonna be here. Bashar, what up? We got a football ladybug. What's up, football ladybug? Wheezy, offensive line. The 49ers only think we have one line, and it's the defensive line, okay? So as soon as you guys understand that, you'll be better off. Dustin, what's good? All right, so yeah, hashtag free to get into the first giveaway. We're going to start off with the biggest news that just happened, and that's the 49ers releasing defensive tackle ends, whatever you want to call him, Eric Armstead. This was something that we heard, you know, in the talks for the last couple of days. The 49ers wanted him to restructure his contract, maybe take a pay cut, and he said that he will not, and he wanted to be released. So yeah, that was something I wasn't expecting when free agency started Monday, you know. And I'm very surprised. I'll say I'm not upset, but I am surprised. I'll let you guys get into it, and then I'll kind of close it off with my thoughts at the end. Tony, Eric Armstead, out of here. How you feeling?
Listen, if I'm correct, he's the longest tenure 49er that was still on this roster. Ties to the bulky drafts from previous years. Listen, it sucks. He's a great guy. He does a lot for the community. But unfortunately, the NFL is a business. And when you have a cap number of $27.5 or $27.8 million and you miss 8-9 games and your production isn't there, granted, it's not because of him. It's because of an injury. Plantar fasciitis is tough, man. I have it. I could be good for weeks, and then the one day it just flares up on you, you're done. So it has nothing to do with that. It's the injury that's messing him up, unfortunately. But, you know, this is the bad thing, and I said it before we went live. Teams keep kicking money down the road, and eventually your production to your cap number is going to be very off balance, and this is what happens. You can't afford to pay a guy $28 million and only play, 10 games?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sucks. He was a team captain. He's a leader. He does a ton for the community. He's a great person. But the NFL's a business, and it's what can you do for me now? And that's what this fell under. I mean, I know the Niners probably tried hard, you know, and you said it yourself. He said he wanted to be released. The 49ers didn't come to him and say, we're releasing you. We just want to rework your deal, maybe take a little less to help us to keep the nucleus together and make another push. And he said, I want to be released. Okay, well, now you're released. So, you know, it's tough, but it's what have you done for me now, league. So this is what it is. What's up, John?
What's up, fam? How are you guys?
I'm doing amazing. How about you?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, man.
Good.
You know, I'm coming around from February, man. Yeah, like everybody else. There'll be a full moon. There must be a full moon tonight, bro, because it's been wild on the timeline, my man.
Man.
But what's
Yeah.
good, fam?
Not
I mean,
much.
what are we chopping up?
So, excuse me, Mariah just brought up the Eric Armstead news, and so I'll give my take on it. Um, it doesn't really surprise me, to be honest. I think when Trent Williams came out and said that he was coming back for another year, I was like, man, something's gonna have to give. We
Yeah.
can't, there's, and I was talking on Spaces earlier, and I was like, people were in their feelings about the moves we're making. I go, free agency, even though it's 2024, you still have to prepare for the future. You still have to prepare for 2025, 2026, and go and so on and so forth, because what you do now affects what you can or can't do in the future. You know what I'm saying? So you have to think about moves and making smart decisions when it comes to paying people. I keep saying, let's trade our first for Patrick Surtain. Let's trade 2 seconds and a third for Darius Slay. And I mean, like just a bunch of foolishness. That's not going to happen. You're not going to get these two top tier corners, these top tier defensive linemen. Expect to pay a Purdy, expect to pay Hufanga that's coming up pretty soon, and currently to pay a Brandon Ayuk. So you can't just sit here and just be trying to get this all-star team put together. You have to bring in free agents accordingly. Because like I said, yes, we're looking for the now, but you also have to think about your future because we come out here, we spend all this money, and then 2025 it's going to be like, dang, what do we have to do now? Then you have to cut players then, and so yeah. And I said like a week or two after Christmas on the timeline, I said, unfortunately, I feel like this is Eric Armstead's last year on the Niners.
Yeah.
You remember I said that, Mariah? I said it. I said
Mhm.
I think he's gone because if you look at what's going on, he's out of the people making that much money. You can't have him at $28 million a season, only playing 9, 10 games, like you said, right now, Tony. So you can't have that. So when I
And
look
just
at everything,
I'm
you want to
sorry.
say something?
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, just one quick thing. He was done next year.
Yeah.
The contract was done.
Yep.
The voidable years were there with dead money, yes, but the contract was done. So
Hmm.
if he's not a part of your plans going forward, this is a move that has to be made. And
Exactly.
and I talked about this. I was on Breezy's show, right? Your roster is built of the rich, the middle class, and the poor, right? Due
Hmm.
to decisions that have been made with trading up for Lance and trading for McCaffrey. McCaffrey's a great trade, but you lost picks to keep the middle class of your roster good.
Yeah.
So total, you lost 2 first-rounders, you lost a second, a third, and a fourth. That's five. That's 5 picks that could have been contributors to 5 different position groups in the middle of your roster that are controlled money on
Absolutely.
controlled contracts. So if he's not a part of your plan and you're missing that, this is unfortunately it's a move that needs to be made. And if you look at
Mm,
what they're doing now in free agency this year, I'm not going to go into it, but everything there's a pattern to it. It's 2 years or less.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because what happens in 2 years? Brock Purdy.
Exactly.
So they know what they're doing. I think they learned a lesson with restructuring and pushing money down. So they did Fred Warner again, but Fred Warner's 27 years old?
Yeah, he's still
26
pretty
years
young.
old? 27? He's going to be here for another at least 5 years. So you could
Yeah.
play with that. Travarius Ward's another one. You could play with him a little bit down.
Yeah.
It's the guys that are 30, 31, 32, 33. You don't want to touch those. Like Kittle, do not touch Kittle's contract. Do not touch Trent. Do not touch Debo.
Mhm.
Those guys, even though they have massive cap numbers, you don't want to screw with that because you're going to find yourself in this position and have to say, well, we got to eat $27 million now.
Mhm.
I didn't mean
And
to cut you
yeah,
off.
no, you're fine, Tony. And like we said too, me and Mariah were talking all season. Like the production we are getting from this D line was actually absolutely atrocious for what we were paying. You had almost what a 90 million, $100 million defensive line, and there
Mhm.
was times where like they were not there. Like it was a disappearing act. So, something had to give. And then two, I see people upset with the names. It's like sometimes you got to look past the names, look at the production and then think about like what what we can do because you look at it you look at people we brought in like the D4s, the Jason Verretts, even though they were household names because what they have done in their NFL careers. And then when we get them, it's they're always hurt. They're always hurt. So we can't, sometimes we can't. The front office can't win for losing. Get somebody in who's a household name, and then they don't play. Then you bring in these guys. I mean, I looked at something for Floyd or whatever. He hasn't missed a game since 2018. 2018, five years, and then you complain. Well, I'd rather have Danielle Hunter. Dude, like, come on, like,
and that's everybody on this list.
Yes, and it's like, dude, he hasn't missed a game in 5 years. That has to count for something. So they go. He's not a huge name. It's Danielle Hunter's out there and so-and-so's out there. Khalil Mack, like, dude, you guys have to relax and understand. Yeah. Like, I get it. Like, you want these big splashes, but it doesn't fit well for, like you said, Tony, for the future. It might look good right now in the present, but you have to look down the road. Like, this is a business where you have to the good teams prepare a year or two in advance of what's going on with their roster. And I feel like that's what the 49ers are doing. And like you said, everything's 2 years, 2 years for Floyd, 2 years for, you know what I'm saying? You look at what's going on with these contracts, the 1 year for the Eric Kendrick, stuff like that. So, yeah, I think people just need to settle down. And I'm not going to tell people how to fandom. I'm not gatekeeping. We're not all going to agree with the moves that are being made. But at the same time, we have to look at it and be like, okay, the front office, they must have a plan. You got to look at future contracts and the Hufungas, the Purdy's, the Ayuks going forward, and understand that you can't just have an all-star team straight across the board. So go ahead,
Correct.
JV.
What's up, guys? Listen, I'm sorry for the connection issues, but look, I forget what podcast it was, and they were discussing all the money that you're investing in the defensive line up front. And when you go to the Super Bowl and, these holds that are happening during the game, every Super Bowl, you're not getting calls for holds, right? And you're investing all this money into your front line, and it's commanding those holds. They're going to hold you because they know that they're going to get away with it. They're not calling it. So here we are investing $100 million into a front four, and we're not valuing the secondary. And then you want to marry them together. Like, you can't have one without the other. You can't choose to be elite on one side and not be elite on the back end.
And we lost John.
I think he froze, huh?
He's so mad. He's
on the front line. And they're commanding holds because if they don't hold these guys, they're going to beat you the one-on-ones. Did I get lost?
You're frozen, but we can hear you, John. So just keep going.
It's kind of in and out, but we can hear you. And now I can't.
God damn it.
The boy's so cold, he's frozen.
You hear that?
Trying to podcast on the run. That's what happens.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're better now.
All right.
Jesus. Anyway, so from what I was trying to understand was they were saying that the Niners are investing too much money in the front and not enough in the back. And it's just not working out because you're going to get holds and they're not going to be called. You're going to get held because they're elite and they're going to beat you otherwise. So you're forcing teams to be essentially I don't know. I guess they're scared of you, right? They're scared of you. They're scared that you will beat them. So the Chiefs are holding us, and we couldn't beat that. We saw that. So they're trying to say change the philosophy, and don't invest as much in the front. They don't need to be elite, but you can have great talent. You don't have to have elite talent, and still get it done. Am I making any sense?
No, you're 100% right.
Right? Like, I totally agree on that. Like, I bought in 100 to that. And I believe that the philosophy on that front scheme is going to be different. And I think we're seeing that with the talent that we're picking up. I see so many people discuss it with the Jordan Elliott pickup. Jordan Elliott they were deciding in Cleveland, they were choosing to let go of Harris and keep him next to Tomlinson. They were going to keep him in Cleveland as a starter and let the others go. But for whatever reason, they let Jordan go. That was our game. I have it on good authority that Jordan Elliott is a good defensive tackle. And we're going to see that. And I guarantee you, the Niner fans are going to complain on the timeline. They're bitching, they're complaining. But when they see this guy, they're going to praise him, just like they did everybody else. Everybody else that came in subpar. Who the fuck is that? Never heard of him. Now you've got Oren Burks making a name for himself. and you've got talent that we had O'Menahue. Nobody fucking cared about who O'Menahue was. Now he's got the bag, and he was amazing for the Chiefs. So I feel like the Niners are doing the same thing over and over. They're getting the same knee-jerk reaction out of us, and I think we fall for it every time.
I also believe, John, to go what you said, there's a change in philosophy on the defensive line. I think the Niners realize having guys over 6'7" is not good to play the interior. Tendencies when you get tired in a game, you tend to play high. Once you play high, you get demolished and blown off the line of scrimmage. That's what you don't want, and that's what we had in Kinlaw and Armstead. All right, it happens. People get tired in the game. Now, behind that was the other issue. The depth, the drop-off from the starting two to the next group was significant. You went from Armstead and Hargrave to Kinlaw, Givens, McGill, guys that weren't on rosters, right? So the philosophy is this. They brought in guys 6'4", 6'3", and under, more stout guys, more athletic guys, more explosive guys. All right. If you go back and anyone with a football knowledge that played the game and everything, low man wins, correct? Lowest man wins. No matter what. Yep. If you go back and watch it, time after time after time, their go-to pass rush move was a bull rush. There's only so many times you could beat a lineman with a bull rush. So you bring in guys that offer things. Collins has a deadly lethal spin that he does that makes all pro guards look stupid. Case in point, Martin, I think his name is Martin, from the Dallas Cowboys. There's video floating on Twitter right now of him doing a spin move on Martin, and totally Martin looked lost. So that's what you want to add to this, right? When you have an aggressive front like this, a wide nine alignment, you want quick, lower guys that can play lower than the offensive line, gap penetrating, explosive first step, and get in that hole and take up blocks. You don't have to be a great run stopper, but your whole point is to take up a block. So instead of you having your center double team, instead of your center guard trying to do a combo block, the center would scoop right and pick up the defensive tackle, whether it was Armstead or Kinlaw, whoever it was, post them up, and the guard would scrape down to the second level. Your linebackers are blocked. But when you have a guy that can cause ruckus inside those phone booths, if you will, you're going to have to put two guys on them and then eventually work to the second level. And then when this defense was quick and at its highest point, at its best time, they weren't getting there because the backers were gone. So that's the difference. They removed all the old blood, brought in all the new blood. You have younger guys, more athletic guys, more stout guys that can give you different looks on the inside. You have versatility with some of these guys. And that's what essentially they want to do. They want to go back to that defense with O'Menahue, where they give you that versatility with Ebelcom. Like, I can tell you right now, Leonard Floyd is going to be the replacement for D Ford. I think we can all agree on that. Yeah. But essentially, Leonard Floyd plays the run better than D Ford. So we'll go with that. Your Javon Kinlaw replacement is going to be Elliott. Your Eric Armstead replacement is going to be Collins. Okay. Your O'Menahue guy is the Gross Matos guy. So essentially, and all these guys they got just shooting from the hip cost them $30 million in contracts.
Crazy.
Well, Eric Armstead was 28 by himself for 2024.
And you could have spent all of that on Danielle Hunter and only had Danielle Hunter.
Exactly.
Correct.
And then he gets hurt, and then what?
And we're screwed again.
Then you're looking at then you're crying you don't have depth.
Thank you.
This is where the 40, and you saw it last year, the drop-off. Why do you think they went out and traded for Chase Young?
Tony, I saw the drop-off throughout the season without those 7 guys we lost. And
Correct.
then we make it to the Super Bowl, and it all shows. Every last player was missed in that one game. And I think Kyle and John realized that, like, it's amazing we made it here with the drop-off in talent that we lost last season. And that talent made the difference in the run game and being the number 1 defense. We were not either of the two.
And, like, you know, I'm not.
We just went away from it. No,
we're not going to beat the horse about No, we're not going to beat a dead horse about scheme and whose fault is it. Wilkes,
Yeah.
this one,
No,
that
I
one.
mean, no,
But
I
think
won't blame
we
anybody.
all- I think we all could sit here and agree, the four of us, and say this defense in 2023, even though it had good games, looked nothing like the defense in
Absolutely.
preview.
No, it was glaring difference.
Especially in the front seven. Maybe
Yep.
the back end got better, but the front seven took a significant step back. And I don't care what anybody says. If you want to say stats and this and that and how much points they're giving up, bullshit. They were not flying around. They weren't swarming. The pressure wasn't there. There was minimal stunts, and that's what this team bread and butter was
Stop the
stunt.
run.
The run game, it was like running free. You it's a different defense.
Absolutely.
It's funny because everything shows after you lose. After we lost the Super Bowl, we saw everything just front and center, right? And it was discouraging for me, bro. I told you, Tony, I couldn't talk Niner football after that. Couldn't talk Niner football. I lost my mind in Vegas. You would have thought I was on a bender. I stayed there for 4 days and lost my goddamn money. I drank a ton of Red Bull and cranberry and vodka. I don't even drink vodka, motherfucker. You know I love bourbon. I don't know what I was doing. I was a different man that day, bro. I was a different man that week. Nonetheless,
It happens, man.
I licked my wounds and I'm back here. I love you guys. I missed everybody. And I'm looking forward to it. I think you're never going to hear me Super Bowl. You're never going to hear me pounding the table for a Super Bowl, only because I think it's an unrealistic expectation until it happens. And that's exactly what I said last season. And I will always believe that. I will always stand on that. Although it's exciting to know that we were just a few plays away, but it's just not enough. So, but I'm not going to sit here and blame the scheme. I'm not going to blame Wilkes. I think that a lot of it was passing the buck because, again, you had a ton of talent up front, and these guys got lazy to extend their season. Point blank, period. They put it on their brothers to protect their bodies. I saw Fred taking piggybacks from half the league, and I was critical of him for it, and I was mad. But I understand, do whatever you got to do to extend your body, but don't pass the fucking buck.
Yeah.
Sorry. Are we still allowed to swear?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Come on now. Look who the host is, brother.
I don't know. Y'all are growing at an exponential rate. So, once people start getting big, then the curse words have to settle down. So you're still growing, family. You're still growing.
The Armstead thing, I've been kind of over him the last few years anyway, since you can't give us what we need from you, and you're taking up all this freaking money. Like TL said, we were paying all this money to a D line that didn't do shit all season long. And so, we can't keep going into the season with the same core, the same group of guys that we haven't been able to win with. You're not winning in a Super Bowl with this core. So you have to make changes, or else you're going back to the Super Bowl with the same freaking core that didn't get it done the last time, that didn't get it done the time before that. So what makes you think they're going to get it done this next time? We saw pretty much the same core go back to the Super Bowl again, the same ones that were, I'm going to be back with a motherfucking vengeance.
Woo!
Where were you? So changes need to be made. When the rumors started coming out that, they're going to be probably getting rid of the, some core guys. I'm like, good, because changes need to happen. If you're staying the same in this league, you're getting worse. Well, all the other teams are getting better. So you need to make changes. You need to get better. You can't just keep guys on the team because, they've been here for this many years and they're our longest tenured player and this and that, even though they're not giving you what you need from them. And then if you're not willing to take a pay cut so that the team can get better, then go elsewhere. You want to chase the bag, go to the Jets, go to a team that's going to be shitty, that's going to hand you a bag, and that's not going to compete for Super Bowls.
See, now, but what I don't like about this, 9 out of 10 times with a situation like this, when you're cutting a high-priced veteran, what do? They go latch on to a team and try to get a ring, and their salary is less than what they were just cut at. So if you truly were, and I'm not calling Eric Armstead out, but if you're truly like, you want that, money's really not the issue because Eric Armstead made a lot of money over his career.
He sure did.
But you're at the latter point. Don't you want to, like, I understand it's the purpose, and he's done the team solids by letting him bump money down the road. But no matter what, the team was paying him. It's just counting against the cap now. So I don't know. I just feel I don't know. I just don't. If he signs a 1-year deal for $10 million, I'm seriously going to lose my shit. I seriously will lose my shit because what is that? That tells me something. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good point, Tony.
Yeah, I agree. I know you don't have very much time, Tony. So before you get out of here, I just wanted to get your thoughts on any of the
I'll
other
go for a little bit. I
players.
might just have to step away to get my kids situated. And then,
okay.
Okay.
There's not a lot of big name guys that we lost, but we did lose some pieces. Curious, what your guys' thoughts on those. I'll run through them real quick. Tight end Charlie Warner signed with the Falcons. Cornerback Isaiah Oliver signed with the Jets. Kinlaw signed with the Jets. Cleveland Farrell signed with the Commanders. Sam Darnold, the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. And TDP managed to make his way to Philly. Any thoughts on that group of guys that we lost? Are there any that you think we're going to have a tough time replacing? Break it down.
No. Replacing, no. I liked Farrell. I was hoping we were going to bring him back. I honestly feel we missed him in the playoffs, especially the Super Bowl with setting the edge, because that's what he's actually really good at. But I think the guys that we added are good enough to fill those roles. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to sit here and say, we can't survive without them. But it's a business. I understand they want to get paid. They want to have a job. You don't work, you don't get paid. It's totally understandable.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with Tony. I think the only one I'm really worried about is not really worried. I would say the only one I think will be missed will be Cleveland Farrell. However, I would have never thought in my life that I would say losing Sam Darnold makes our QB room worse, because I am seriously worried about our QB room. I know the draft's still having to come up and all this other stuff, but man, I never want to bring any bad juju to the team, but we better not. I hope we don't go in with Brandon Allen as our number 2 quarterback, because I feel like we're going to draft one, which is like you said, but definitely going to draft one. Which I like the guy out of Tulane, Michael Pratt, and I like the guy out of BYU, Keldon Slovis or whatever his name is. You like him too, Tony? I like Keldon Slovis. I like that guy. So if we can get one of those 2 guys, I'll feel more comfortable. But man, I don't know what his price range would be or anything, but I had kind of posted on the timeline, like, what about somebody like a Ryan Tannehill come in just to be a bridge, just to be like a backup behind Purdy would make me feel way more comfortable. But yeah, I think just, other than that, no, I think everybody else can be replaced. Eric Armstead, for the production, for the money he was getting and the production he got, it was time for him to go. Like I said, $28 million when you have somebody. And like I said, I never really thought of Eric Armstead being a top 5 D tackle in the league ever, but I did think that Buckner was. But when you have great talent around you, when you have a Bosa and you have a Hargrave around you, you would think that you getting, one-on-one man coverage or whatever, you should be able to take, for making $28 million, you should be able to take advantage of that. And I felt like Eric Armstead didn't take advantage of the double teams that were given to other players. Like, to me, you got paid like a top 5 D tackle, but you weren't performing like one when we needed you to. So that's the only thing that was okay with me losing Eric Armstead. Like I said, a great man in the community. He was always winning these awards and stuff like that. I'm sure he's an excellent human being. But as a business perspective, $28 million a year when you only play maybe half a season because you have the plantar, what's it called? Plantar fasciitis or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, you're not even getting close to 8, 9 sacks or whatever the case may be as an interior lineman with somebody who's not being double covered. yeah, I just think that's somebody that I'm okay with losing, unfortunately. But yeah, those are the only two that really I'm worried about.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what they do at the quarterback room. And Cleveland, that's the one player probably from the list that, I was the most like, damn, I wanted to get him back. But I mean, I'm used to the guys that we sign on 1-year deals to,
Yeah,
on the D line to end up going somewhere else. So
yeah, the Arden Keys and all these.
Mhm.
Yeah,
While Tony's gone, real quick, let's go and draw this first giveaway. Hashtag free to enter if you're not already entered. Right now we're gonna draw the Elijah Mitchell hype and George Kittle prismatic. Also coming up later down the show, we're doing CMC prismatic, Debo prismatic, and then to close the show, we got this man,
Purdy.
Brock
Okay.
Purdy hype. And I didn't post this, but to add on, we're going to also draw this Vernon Davis
That's my guy right
game-worn
there.
game-worn patch. So we'll close the show with those. So yeah, hashtag free to enter this first giveaway. And we're going to draw right now. Let me share my screen real quick. And you guys know when, I have guests on the show, it's harder to do the giveaways. So we just got to do them as they come because I'm not going to interrupt my guests from talking to giveaway stuff. So
Yeah.
let's see.
Vernon Davis. That was my guy. I didn't think over the last 20 years, I don't think I had been much more excited than a pick than Vernon Davis. Like I wanted him when we had the number 6 overall pick, and everybody said, "Oh, it's too early for a tight end." And I'm just like, man, this dude is special. He just is a beast with the ball. I think him and Patrick Willis are my favorite 2 picks in the last probably 15 years.
Yeah. No more numbers. Hashtag free to enter the giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
And we are drawing the first one. Good luck, everybody. This is for Elijah Mitchell, this first one. Dustin. Congrats, Dustin. Eli Mitchell is yours, sir. All right. And for the George Kittle prismatic, good luck, good
Corona.
luck.
Yeah. For the next giveaway, Corona, you have to put the hashtag in front of free. Hashtag free.
Don. Well, it's going to change for the next giveaway, so don't worry about doing that now.
Oh, okay. You got to put
Congrats, Don. But yeah, that's why I said hashtag and then the thing. Moving forward, the giveaways are all going to be hashtag and whatever I say at the time. So yeah, congrats to Dustin and Don for the Kittle and Elijah Mitchell. In a little bit, we'll do the other ones, and then we'll close the show with Brock and Vernon Davis. All right. Let me change, though, this next giveaway.
Right. The 49er throwback. Let's bring back Jimmy G. That's a negative, sir.
We are going to talk about that right now.
Hey, Miriah, you know what's funny? We lose Trey Sermon, he goes to Philly. We lose TDP, he goes to Philly. It's crazy.
I know, it's crazy.
No more third round running
now Trey
backs.
Sermon's on the Colts, and they like him.
Oh, is he? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No more running backs until day 3 or UDFA.
To enter the second giveaway, we're going to do hashtag CMC.
There you go. Hashtag. Remember that, folks.
Hashtag CMC to get into the second group of giveaways. Get it in there. Get it in there. Good luck. All right. So, yeah. I saw that going around on social media. Obviously, now it's official. Jimmy G's been released. from the Raiders. And so people are starting to question, and, to wrap it all into one question, not even just including Jimmy G, but I seen it going around that, should the 49ers trade for Justin Fields? So we're going to give up picks to trade for Justin Fields. Get this, not to come in and back up Brock Purdy, but to come in and compete with Brock Purdy for the starting job. So I saw that. And then obviously, Jimmy's released. Should we bring him back to be the backup? It's like, I don't know what this fan base wants to bring back. All the old players. Like it could have been a player that we couldn't even stand when he was on this team.
Mm-hmm.
And then the minute we find out he's going somewhere else, it's like, oh no. And the minute he comes available, bring him back. Like, how many people I seen online all of a sudden talking about, oh my gosh, I can't believe Kinlaw signed with the Jets. You guys hated that man for 4 years. Hated him.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden he's going somewhere else. So it's like, oh no, we could have, like, come on. So Jimmy G back to the 49ers, I think is disgusting. Let's start there. Number 2, to have somebody like finally our first season that we're out of quarterback drama. The first season that we don't have to fight about who our quarterback is going to be. And now all of a sudden bring in this guy to compete with Brock Purdy for the starting job.
Well, no one's coming in here.
That's why it's funny. That's what Ty said. Josh Norman, let's bring him back. It's hilarious with this fan base sometimes. Like you said, you hit the nail on the head. Like, this is the first year that we don't have any QB controversy. And now all of a sudden it's, let's bring this person back. Let's trade for him, like you said, and not as a backup, but to compete. That's crazy to me. When you had a quarterback in 2 back-to-back seasons, single-handedly, well, not single-handedly, but pretty much did his job and took us to an NFC championship and then took us to a Super Bowl. And then you want to come in here and try to get somebody to come in here and compete with him. It doesn't make any sense. But let me ask you guys, is Travis King that guy that challenged Eminem to a rap battle?
Yeah.
Okay, so we shouldn't listen to him because just saying that, he lost his mind. What was this dude talking about? Talking about meet me on the 50-yard line so we can battle it out, bro. He'd give you that work. And then for you to come in and bring Justin Fields in to compete, come on, bro. The dude has lost his mind. So don't pay attention to him, fam. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I think you need to bring in a veteran like, this is just some names I'm throwing out here. Not saying I'm agreeing with it, but you bring in maybe like a Joe Flacco because he played well as a backup. He can win you 3 or 4 games if he has to. You bring in like a Ryan Tannehill because there's no starting quarterback jobs that are open right now. Like, I think Ryan Tannehill is one of these people now. He understands, like, he couldn't play, like, he knows in Tennessee, the writing was on the wall when they drafted quarterbacks in back-to-back years and Malik Willis, and then you get Will Levis. You know what I'm saying? So you bring in a veteran like that who understands his role, like a Mariota. He went to his team, and he's like, I know I'm a backup. Get you a player like that that's a solid number 2. Like I said, I'm not hating on Brandon Allen. I just haven't seen enough for him to be comfortable with the number 2 QB job. Or will I be comfortable with the rookie? Like I said, these Brock Purdy situations only come around every once in a while. So we'd be in luck to get us a 5th-round quarterback and then him turn into as good as Brock Purdy. And then now we're having another QB competition. But, like I said, the QB room is weak. But you're right, Miriah. Like, let things go. Everybody wanted Aziz to come back. I said he's not coming back here. He's not going to be a guy just like plug and play because he had a heck of a year in Tennessee, and you see he got paid.
Shout out to him. Yep.
Yeah, shout out to him. Yeah, you see he got paid. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's some players who you might reconsider coming back that had a great great run with us, and maybe like let's just say Laken Tomlinson was to come for cheap. I'd welcome that. I'd welcome that. But there's just some players, like you said, like a Josh Norman, like Ty said, bring back Jimmy G. He knows the offense. Like, come on, fam. No, let's just be real here. Go ahead, Tony.
Who's the guy that they signed to the 2-year, 1-year, $2 million fully guaranteed deal? The quarterback,
Nate Sudfeld. Okay,
so they were willing to rock with Nate Sudfeld as the backup.
Mm-hmm.
That tells me. I think they're willing to go into this season with Allen as the backup. Just for the simple purpose of this, and he had 1 full year in this offense, 1 full year working with Greasy, 1 full year in that quarterback room, And from my gatherings from reading all different things and reports and stuff from the beat writers is they all worked well together. Darnold, Purdy, and this guy.
Allen.
Allen, yes. So with that being said, I could see them rolling in, but I definitely think they're bringing somebody else in as far as a draft pick. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
For sure. So Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't want to ever hear his name tied to the 49ers because he was on the Raiders and he still screwed us out of a compensation
Yeah.
pick. So I don't want to hear that.
One final way he found to freaking give it to us, and he freaking did it. Like, are you kidding me? We can't even get a freaking decent draft pick back from your ass. Like, I still can't believe he got suspended for PEDs. Like,
and still was trash.
That was the last person, and still couldn't stay healthy. And that was the last person, like, I'm expecting to open the news and see it suspended for PEDs. I'm
exactly.
Like, wow, like he really done it all now. So they brought it up in the chat, and I had just seen that they announced it right now. Calvin Ridley just signed to the Tennessee Titans, 4 years, $92 million, $50 million fully guaranteed. Now, this is the first major wide receiver signing that we've had. 4 years, $92 million, $50 million guaranteed. Now, in my eyes, I don't know if it's just homerish. Y'all know me. This is my favorite player out there, besides Fred Warner, Brandon Ayuk. Got to pay the guy, right? So, they go based. Once we see one contract come out, the next guy wants to be paid higher. Well, you keep saying they better get it done before Justin Jefferson.
Absolutely. Right? Him and CeeDee Lamb. Yeah.
It's already coming out that, Justin Jefferson's turning down, 20 plus million a season. So we're in that from that ballpark to 4 years divided into 92 million is come on, Matt.
About 22.5 million.
22. Yeah.
All right.
Here's my thing.
I'm going to tell you to make more than that.
I'm going to tell you right now. Justin Jefferson is an elite wide receiver. I'm not saying Brandon Ayuk is not or cannot be an elite wide receiver, but Brandon Ayuk will not be an elite wide receiver with this group of skill positions because there's so many people that the ball has to go around to. He's not the focal of this offense. Do I think he deserves to be paid? Yes. But I'm telling you now, if Jefferson's turning down $30+ million a year and Ayuk's going to try to follow that, I mean, don't think it's going to happen here.
You think, okay. Yeah, here's what I'll say about that too, Tony. It's like,
and I want him here. I think he's great.
No, I know you do. Yeah, I know you do. But you're speaking from a business standpoint. So I get it. Like, you're not going to get no $33 million a season. Because I think I saw what Miriah saw, that Justin Jefferson turned down like $30 million a year. So he's going the Nick Bosa route where he wants probably quarterback money. He's probably going to be asking for like 35 a year, which is crazy to me. But like you said, he's the focal point. He's the man on that offense. Brandon Ayuk, you're absolutely right. He's not the man on those offense, but that's not his fault. We just have a plethora of weapons that we like to, give everybody a chance to get the ball. We give it to McCaffrey, we give it to Kittle, give it to Juszczyk, give it to Debo. So I get it. Can he be elite? I keep saying, and I won't stop talking about this, he can be a top 5 receiver just because the man is probably one of the best route runners in the business. Top 5, in my opinion. He cooks these corners. So you get him to a pass, you get him to somebody like a Bengals or somebody who likes to throw the ball. Like you put him on the Houston Texans, he's gonna cook. He's making all pro, I believe, if he goes to Houston Texans. He'd definitely be the number 1 guy. So yeah, it's unfortunate for him that he's on the teams that don't utilize him as much, but his numbers are still there. For him to get as many touchdowns he did, how many yards he did, and being a 3rd, sometimes 4th option on his team, he's going to get his money. But like I said, and I've been saying this for a long time, I mean, look at this. Calvin Ridley is a number 2 receiver at best, maybe in an elite number 3. He's getting $92 million guaranteed. Now you got to
Yeah.
look at guys that are like in kind of like in his tier, but maybe a little bit better. The Mike Williams has got cut from the Chargers. He's going to get his money, but then you got another guy who's been healthy and been serviceable and been good is T. Higgins. He asked for a trade
Yeah.
because he doesn't think he can get paid in Cincinnati. So they get their contract. They're probably going to get more than Calvin Ridley, if we're being honest here. They're probably going to get more because they've been better. So if they're getting 25 million, let's just say, because he got 22 and a half, Brandon Knight's going to probably ask for about 27, 28, maybe even $29 million. But like I said, I've been saying this for months, me and Miriah both. It's like it comes down to a point where you can't keep doing the same thing with these free agents. I get it. We have his 5th-year option, but you want to still make him feel like he's respected.
Yeah.
Whether he has a 5th-year option or not. So you look at the situation here. You have the Kittle situation, the Bosa situation, the Fred Warner. Everybody has held out through training camp, through OTAs, all this other stuff. You want to bring them in when it's close to training camp. And what happens at the end? The players win. It's a chess game that the Niners front office always loses because they cave and end up paying these guys what they want anyway. This time, I'd like to see you do it different. Be out there and set the standard. Be out there and say, hey, Brandon Knight, we're going to give you 5 years, 130 million, whatever, with 100 million guaranteed, whatever the case may be. Then you set the standard of like, oh, cool. And now you don't have to worry about trying to get something higher because you know that Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb are going to get that bread. They're going to break the bank for their organizations. So we need to get this done sooner than later and stop playing these games and get Brandon Ayuk his money.
Yeah, I'd be sick. I'd be so sick to see him go somewhere else and flourish. Oh my God. I'd be
Hey,
fucking
just
sick.
real quick, the guy the Niners had Jenkins, Rashawn Jenkinson from
Oh,
Jacksonville,
yeah,
who
that
was cut.
safety? The
Yeah,
safety.
he's signed with Seattle. Someone I would love to see bring in for a visit is Quadira Diggs
Oh, yeah.
into San Francisco. I haven't heard anything about that yet, but clearly they're in the market for a safety to play it safe just in case there's any hiccup or any lingering issues with Huff's knee. I'm just looking real quick, see if anything else happened. Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to say that.
He probably went to Seattle just because he has the opportunity to probably have a chance to start there, which he knows with us, Hufanga healthy and Jair Brown healthy, he's probably going to be a backup.
Yeah, they signed him to a 2-year deal, so maybe the Niners maybe just offered one. So,
and like Collie said, BA is durability. He's been healthy since he's been here. Dude doesn't miss games. He plays smart. You know what's funny about him? He's not. I mean, for being as small as he is, he's pretty physical. But I'm not saying he's him. But he reminds me of like a Marvin Harrison. He puts himself in positions where he gets open, where he's not going to take a huge hit. Like he makes sure he keeps his body clean and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you, Tony?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, Alberto, I know, like this is not something that would ever happen, but it brought up on my next point. He had asked, would you guys give up BA and Debo for Justin Jefferson? So if you guys want to answer that. But, it was announced right before we went live that the Ravens reached out to the 49ers to see about a trade for Debo Samuel. And obviously, the report said the 49ers said no at this time in parentheses, right? But what was the most, interesting thing to me about that was, are the Ravens just picking up the phone to call all, we'll say 28 of them have a number one wide receiver. Are they calling all 28 of those teams to see if their wide receiver are available? Or did they know that the 49ers, did it get out there that maybe the 49ers are interested in trading Debo? Because why aren't they just calling and saying, hey, you guys trading Debo? And then they're calling up the next time, hey, you guys trading, who's Seattle got? What's his nuts?
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf?
Yeah.
Cardinals, hey, you guys trading, like the Rams, hey, you guys trading Cup? Like, are they doing that? Or why was it the 49ers? It was only announced that they reached out to the 49ers for Debo. So why was it the 49ers and Debo out of everybody else,
Yeah, you know what it is too? We have two we talked about this before, Miriah. When Debo is right, he's unstoppable. When he says he's going to do something, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to dominate the Eagles. I'm going to go in there. And he does what he does. I'm going to go in there and dominate the Rams. Every team in the NFL knows you're not paying 2 receivers $25 million plus. You know that. So I think that's why they called us, because they're like, man, they have to pay Ayuk. Ayuk's younger. He's more durable. He's the better receiver, even though Debo, when the ball in his hands, is dangerous. So maybe I can get one of these guys from him. I think that's why the 49ers were probably announced, because you look at all these other teams, like, you got the, like we always said, collectively, we probably have the best group of weapons in football, when healthy. So when, you got Ayuk out there, he's going to command top dollar, like I said, and then you got Debo making what, 26, 27, or whatever the case may be. We can't pay them both. So I think that's just the easy target. Let me call San Francisco, see what they want for Debo Samuel. I think that's why we were the one called. I could be wrong, but I think that's probably why one of the ones we're the ones that were in the headlines, because something's going to have to give.
Could you imagine a healthy, unstoppable Debo Samuel on the Ravens with a Lamar Jackson and an unstoppable run game?
And Zay Flowers is nice.
I think he would probably fit the best if he left San Francisco in that offense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He would.
Him, Mark, and then you forgot even a healthy Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is a beast at tight end when he's healthy. You got Mark Andrews, Henry, Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson, and Debo. That would be nasty. But I think that's why we're being called. I don't think we should do it. It's going to be one of those things where, and like I said, I feel like unless you're to me, I feel like if you're a top tackle, top edge, or top quarterback, those are usually the guys who are off limits. And I hate that fan base thinks that, oh, this person's off limits. No, everybody can be had for a price, unless you're, to me, those 3 positions, because they're standards. But the receivers come dime a dozen. There's so many receivers out there now because it's a passing league, and there's so many people who, so many teams that throw the rock. Like, it's funny how Brock Purdy had so many yards passing. We're one of the top bottom teams in throwing the football. So that just goes to show you how much of a passing league it is. Now, like a number 3 receiver gets paid because there's so many 3 wide receiver sets nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be one of those things where I don't know what's going to happen. Like, if they, to me, I don't get too attached to dudes like that. Like, if Debo ends up being traded, will it be a huge loss? Absolutely. But if, let's just say they say, hey, I'll give you a second this year and a second next year that can turn into a first if he makes the Pro Bowl, or turns into a first if he does this. You have to look at it. You can't be naive and just be like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. And because we have somebody who does exactly the same thing he does, just not as physical in the CMC. And if you use one of those picks to get yourself, because this receiving classes coming out in the draft is amazing. It's off the hook. One of the best I've seen since like the Justin Jefferson, the CeeDee Lamb, the Jerry Jeudy type. When they came out, it's nasty. It might be even deeper. So this receiving class is amazing. So if you want to, take your chances and say, I believe in the Juwan Jennings, I believe that Ronnie Bell can be good as well. I just need to, have this guy come in, because look at Zay Flowers. He was a rookie. Second half of the season, he came on. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Like I said, I'm not too attached. I'm not sitting here advocating to say, oh, we need to trade Debo. I'm not saying that, because like I've mentioned before, we have the top 2 probably all around weapons on this team in McCaffrey and Debo. And when Debo is right, yeah, like I said, I feel like he's like Randy Moss sometimes. I play when I want to. Because when he's right and he gets the ball in his hands and he has a mission where he's just like, when you get into a fist fight, you're only focusing on that one person. It could be a crowd around you, yelling, screaming, but you don't hear him, you don't see him. You're just focused on that dude. That's how Debo is with the end zone.
Television.
That's how Dino's exactly how Debo is with the end zone. He's just, like he said in that and then that playoff game against the Cowboys, give me the ball, I'm going to score. Couldn't stop him. So, like I said, Debo is a menace. He's a beast. But like I said, it's a business. You have to look at it and see what's best for the team. So what you think about that, Tony?
No, it's well said. I agree with everything you said. If you personally ask me, if something had to happen right now and there was a trade involving one of the wide receivers, I think the Niners could get away with a combo of Jennings and Ayuk rather than Jennings and Debo. I'm not saying I'm for this. I'm not saying trade him. I'm not saying anything like that. But what I am saying, if it's gonna happen, if it is Debo, the 49ers aren't as bad as it would be if it was just Debo and Jennings. You know what I'm saying? So you would still have your chain mover, and then you would still have your possession, not your possession, your threat, your route runner, your deep threat. And then the problem is that was with this, right? When Debo had that monster year and they had to sign him to the contract, Christian McCaffrey wasn't here. So all that running out of the backfield thing was taken away because you have Christian McCaffrey now. So the value of the contract was out of whack. And I'm not saying Debo's not good. I think Debo, in my opinion, when he's locked in, is the most dangerous player in the NFL with the ball in his hands.
Yes.
I really do. I mean, the mentality of kill the man with the ball, he's killing the guy who's trying to stop the ball by running right through it. And you saw it numerous times last year and in his career as a 49er. But I just feel like the way he plays, his style of play, how physical he is, that's wear and tear on the body. And now the question becomes, can the body hold up?
Exactly.
But by all means, I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm just telling you like the logistics of this and why you're starting to hear little birdies about potentially moving on from Debo, not this year, maybe next year, because that's when the big money really kicks in. I mean, it's big this year, but next year I think it's even more. So the Niners are in a very tough spot right now, and that's why they need to hit this draft out of the park. They need to be very strategic. If they trade up and down and move picks, they have to be very strategic in their undrafted free agent signing. They need to restock this roster in the middle class and the lower class to be able to carry the success on once decisions need to be made in the rich class.
Yeah.
So that's the problem here. And those 2 first-rounders and those multiple mid-rounders, that really hurt this team. All right. And all the guys that they reached on, like the running, like TDP, I thought he was a great pick. I don't know why they didn't Trey Sermon, those 2 third-rounders. Latu is still questionable, you know, all of that. You needed to make, I'm not saying hit it out of the park. I'm saying people that could contribute.
Exactly, Tony.
There's guys that have been drafted the last 2 years that didn't even get a uniform. So what are we talking about?
Yeah.
There's 0 contributions from the draft class on certain picks.
Yeah.
Right? Or am I wrong?
Danny Gray's another one. He was a 3rd round.
Where's Danny Gray? Samuel Womack. What? Now this is the problem when you switch philosophies and switch defensive coordinators. Samuel Womack a year ago, not 2023, 2022. Samuel Womack was getting run at the nickel, getting run at outside corner. Samuel Womack disappeared this year. Nowhere to be found. What happened? Luter got hurt, nothing from him. Willis got play in the latter part of the year due to injuries. Latu, nothing. Moody, we know what happened with Moody. But Jair Brown, excellent pick. I think it's an excellent pick. I think he's going to be a key contributor. He feels the field. He's very instinctive. He sees it. He recognizes it, and he triggers on it. That's what you want. But to say your top pick was the third to last pick in the 3rd round, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because those 2 picks before could have been something. Could have been not hit it out of the park, but potentially a guy that could have battled McKivitz for a tackle spot.
Yeah.
But potentially a guy that could have battled Kinlaw for a defensive tackle spot. You know what I'm saying? There's pieces that the Niners didn't take advantage of in those trades. So, I mean, listen, they made a decision to do the trades. It is what it is. It's the past. We got to move forward. But I fully expect them to really lock in and try to really hit this out of the park.
And Tony, let's say this right now, you know, they started off with the 11 picks and now they have 10 because they use that 7th rounder to get that D tackle from the Texans. To me, they're starting off great. You start off by getting somebody who contributed, who's going to contribute, who you use a draft pick on. So now you don't have to worry about that. Out of these 10 picks we have left, I like to see us use at least 7 of them. I like us to see, but whether like you said, Tony, we move up the draft board down, whatever the case may be. Like I would like even if you have to trade up. Like remember that one year we had the 30th or 31st pick, and we moved up and we got what's this guy's name, Eric Reed. We jumped from like 30 to 17 to pick him. Remember, like if we do something like that and be like, hey, there's an offensive lineman we really like, or even if it's a corner, whatever the case may be. I don't, to me, I think it should be offensive line, but it is what it is. You move up, you get yourself a player who's going to contribute day one. Whether it's regardless of what position it is, that's what needs to happen. Because like, you're right, when you're picking these guys in the third round, going into your third year, if you're not at least like contributing, or you're at least like for instance like a Danny Gray. He's going into his third year right now. He should at least be contributing and giving us minimum the fourth wide receiver on the team. Minimum. You know what I'm saying? Being the fourth receiver.
Maybe there's a scenario where something happens and you see Danny Gray this year. Like there could be. Because remember what they did with Ayuk?
Yeah. He wasn't even going to play his rookie year if there wasn't injuries. Mohamed Sanu and Trent Sherfield and all that were above him on the depth chart. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
It was Debo, Sherfield, and Mohamed Sanu. They were like, he wouldn't have played if we didn't have injuries. But the fact that there was an injury, he got to play. So, and that's why, people are looking at, like I don't really expect anything from like a Jalen Graham. He was a 7th round pick, but he showed out. But like, even if we didn't pick up an Eric Kendricks, I would have been happy because now it's like, oh, we got D Winters and Jalen Graham, who's going to win this job. The fact that when I got an Eric Kendricks, I'm not too bad about that. The man had 117 tackles and almost 4 sacks with the Chargers last year. So maybe the front office looking at it as like, okay, D Winters and Jalen Graham going into year 2. I don't really trust him yet, so let me get a solidified linebacker who's been there and done that. You know what I'm saying? So, but by 2025, I fully expect a Jalen Graham and D Winters to win that job. You know what I'm saying?
Mohamed Sanu was running like he had a piano on his back.
That's crazy.
Mimi B, I think Conley is a free agent right now.
Hashtag CMC for the second giveaway. Let me go ahead and draw that real quick. Last call. This is for the CMC Prismatic and the Debo Prismatic. We're going to draw Debo first and then CMC. So good luck. Good luck.
Good luck, fam. Miss Deb, put hashtag CMC. There's no more numbers.
'49er minded. Bashar gets Debo. Congrats. Congrats. All right. And CMC is Dawn. Dawn cleaning house.
Has she won twice already?
Yep.
Dang.
She won CMC and Kittle.
Dang.
All right. Congrats. Congrats. And, those that have just entered, hey, Miss Deb, we are closing the show with the Brock Purdy hype and the game-worn Vernon Davis patch. So we will close the show with those. Hey, Chrissy, let me give you guys how to enter real quick. Let's do hashtag Purdy.
Okay. Hashtag Purdy for the next giveaways. Correct me if I'm wrong, fam. Even you, Tony, or somebody in the chat. Vernon Davis, wasn't his first NFL catch a touchdown against Arizona? Like his first catch? I believe it was.
I don't know.
I believe it was.
I can't remember what yesterday was.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Hashtag Purdy to get into the last giveaway. All right. So, I know that we touched on them, kind of going through everything else, but the moves that the 49ers have made, we talked about a little, and I'll get you guys' thoughts on them all right now. Jordan Elliott, defensive tackle. 2-year, $10 million. We got Leonard Floyd, edge, 2-year, $20 million. I think Malik is his first name. Collins, defensive tackle. I didn't put what he's making, so secret. Linebacker Eric Kendricks. That's what we woke up to this morning, which I was kind of surprised. But I'm happy for that spot as well. Edge, Gross Matos, 2 years, $18 million. And then we put a second round tender on Jawan Jennings, which is $4 million. So, either a team has to come at us and say, I'm going to sign him to this contract, and the 49ers have a chance to match. If not, that team will have to give the 49ers a second round pick for him. So hopefully, some teams will think that that's too steep to give up a second round pick, and we get to keep him. I am kind of disappointed. I've talked about this the last how many years that the 49ers keep giving him this 1-year tender, 1-year tender, 1-year tender.
Yeah.
It's like, sign the man to like a 2-year contract.
What more does he have to do?
Yeah, like a 2-year, $10 million or, whatever the hell. Like, give him some freaking money. Like, geez, criminy. Like, every year. So next year we have no rights to him. So now we're just going to lose him like we did Kendrick Bourne to some freaking Joe Schmoes. Probably go to the freaking Pats too. McKivitz, they extended 1 year, $7 million. Brandon Allen, 1 year, $1.5 million.
Damn, peanuts.
Yep. O-line, Ben Barch, 1 year, $7 million. And then with all that, Fred Warner restructured his contract. They turned his base salary into bonus and cleared up $10 million in space. And then Juice, it was, out there whether Juice was going to restructure or else it was going to be like a thing like Eric Armstead and he was going to go somewhere else. He finally restructured, freed up 1.75 mil. That's the one I was like questioning. Like, he's really crazy if he thinks like Eric Armstead. Yeah, I can see. Okay, release me. He'll find a job somewhere, regardless what he makes. He's going to find a job, whether he goes for peanuts or not. But Juice, it's like, hardly any teams use a fullback, and the ones that do, they already have one. So it's like, if you are going to turn down what the 49ers are trying to give you, it's like you're not going to go, like, what are the chances you're going to go somewhere else and find another job? So yeah. I couldn't see him not restructuring. Like, I can't see him finishing his career somewhere else. Love him or hate him, we think, some half of this fan base thinks he does absolutely nothing for this offense. The other half thinks he's everything for this offense. So, whatever, he's still here. All those moves. Oh, George Odom as well, 2 year, $10.8 million.
And that one's crazy to me.
I mean, we need the special teams.
I get it.
No,
I get it. So. This is why this goes back to what you're talking about. I love the way he plays good special teams, but then you're giving this man a contract who has been here a shorter time than somebody like a Jawan Jennings, who's been here, and you keep playing with his contract every year. Like you said, I'd give him like 3 years, $18 million. It's fair. $6 million a year. You're a third receiver. You do your thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where I just don't get it. Like you said, shout out to him. He got his money, 2 years, $10 million. But man, you're absolutely correct about that thing. It's going to be a Kendrick Bourne type situation, because at some point he's going to feel like he's not worthy. He's going to feel like, man, what do I have to do to earn me an extension that's going to pay me what I'm worth? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just real quick, the Juice restructure was weird. Did you see what he restructured for?
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I know it saved us like 1.75 million or something like that.
What is that? Like, why would you?
I have no idea.
That's what I was questioning. Like, when they're making this big deal about it, like all week it's been in the news, juice this, juice that, and then it like went silent. It's like, okay, and then when they come out and it's like, okay, freed up 1.75 mil. I'm like, that's it. Like, that's what all this commotion was for. Like $1.5 million.
Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the signings? I know, we talked about how, pretty much all those D-line that we just signed equal what Eric Armstead would be making. So obviously that's a huge plus.
Huge.
And the Kendricks thing, you talked about, some people are upset because they want Graham Winters to get a chance. I don't think they're signing Kendricks as, okay, we're signing you and you're starting opposite Fred Warner. I think we're signing you, and you're coming in to compete with Graham and Winters, and whoever wins the starting job wins the starting job. I'm not thinking that he's going to come into camp, and if D Winters fucking beats him out, they're going to still start Kendricks. Like, that's not what I'm taking from this signing whatsoever.
Do you think that
I
that's
think
the
there's going to
case?
be a
It would.
competition.
I think I slightly disagree with that, just because
You're
I
allowed.
think yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. I'm just saying because I feel like he's proven, and you know how Kyle is. He brought in Brandon Staley, who coached him last year. So I mean, I got to see the numbers because I didn't even know what he got signed for. Do you know how much it was a year? I don't think the numbers came
No.
out right. So I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong. You could be absolutely right. But I just think that with Kendricks having the year he had last year, over 100 tackles, almost 4 sacks, he's still pretty young. He still has some left in the tank. I think he's a stopgap for Dre Greenlaw, just because I think of that injury. And I think they're still looking at it as like we're in a Super Bowl window. And I just think that they feel like Eric Kendricks can come in and be that missing piece, and there's no drop off because he can cover. And it's funny, I don't know if you guys know this. We had his brother for a small stint, Michael Kendricks, who tried to play here, and then he didn't end up panning out because of his injury and stuff. And it's funny, I know both him and Michael. They're both from my hometown of Fresno, California, and I watched them play at Hoover High School, and them dudes can ball. And it's funny about Eric, he was better at basketball, but he chose football because he felt it was an easier path. But yeah, it's just I don't know. Like I said, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong.
I don't
But
see no numbers
yeah,
still.
I didn't see no numbers for him either. But yeah, I with the looking at all the free agent signings, like I said, none of them are like sexy per se, but I do like the Leonard Floyd. Like to me, averaging almost 10 sacks a year for the last 4 years is huge. Like he gets to the quarterback. So I
And he's
love that
healthy.
son. And he's healthy. Been healthy since hasn't missed a game since 2018.
Mhm.
That's awesome. That's what we need. We don't have any worry about a D forward being great when he's healthy and then not playing for 75% of the season. He's better than Ibukam, who we tried to bring in. You know what I'm saying? So he can get to the quarterback. So I'm not worried about him at all. Him and Kendricks to me are my favorite signings. Like I said, the Odom thing, or whoever it was that got the 2 year 10.8 million or whatever. I'm not gonna be mad at it. We need special teams. Our special teams has been an issue for a while. We can't seem like we can't get it right. But like I said, please give my boy Juwan Jennings an extension. Like, stop playing games with this man. Like I said, I don't know what more he has to do. He blocks his tail off. He's clutch. I mean, he rarely drops a ball. You know what I mean? Like he's just one of those dudes that goes out there. He brings his lunch every day, doesn't complain. He plays with passion. He deserves an extension. This 1 year, 2 million, 1 year, 4 million. Yeah, he's getting a raise, but give that man some stability to where he knows where he's going to be for the next couple of years. Like I said, I think it would be fair to give him. I mean, you got somebody like a Calvin Ridley who's getting 92 million guaranteed. I don't think somebody like Juwan Jennings is going to complain if you give him like a 3 year, $18 million deal, which averages 6 million a year. You know what I'm saying? So, um, going forward, we talked about the draft and what we should do and all this other stuff. I would love to grab a right tackle in the draft. However, I'd still want to leave with at least a lineman in free agency. I know we've gotten Colton McKivitz. There's somebody out there like Connor Williams who's serviceable, can play guard and tackle, who's played a few games in the NFL. Like let's get a couple guys just because I don't trust our track record of developing offensive linemen. Aaron Banks has been our only guy who's really done something. Out of like the Nick Sakelges, the Colton McKivitz is, he is what he is. The Mike McGlinchey's, all these other guys really haven't done anything. So let's try to draft one in the first round if we can. If somebody's there, I don't want to reach though. I don't want to reach. If we're there 31, if we decide not to trade up, draft best player available. If it's a receiver, I don't care. Draft best player available because you continue to win games when you hit on your draft picks. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to hit.
Mhm.
But if there's a guard tackle that's sitting there, I would love to go after somebody like that in the first round, or even if it's a corner. But yeah, drafting two offensive linemen don't do nothing for him. If we had two first round picks, it'd be different. But I'd rather pick up one and then draft another and then go best player available from there on forward. But yeah, I just want to like if we resign Ayuk to an extension and then we get another offensive guard or tackle in free agency, I'd be happy.
Yep.
That's all I got, Tony.
I definitely think Jennings deserves an extension. Definitely think that, without a doubt. Receivers are like that are very hard to come by. So 100% he deserves it. And as far as with going into the draft, the 49ers have a plan going into free agency every year. And what their plan is to attack something so they have full flexibility in the draft. This offseason, they rebuilt the defensive line. They added a piece to the linebacking core for Dre Greenlaw's injury, a veteran, a captain, experienced guy. They also have the two guys in the background, Graham and Winters. Key thing here, they also added KJ Wright to this coaching staff, who's going to be hands-on with those two young kids. So I look for production to show pretty damn quick once he gets his hands on these guys, a full off season in the weight room. I think that could help them too. And listen, if they overtake that starting spot from him, so be it. One of them are going to start in the base three. So it's a decision of who earns it and who's ready. But right now, if you're asking me, I think they're probably going to bring back Feliciano or a low-level guard to that caliber. And there's no glaring hole right now. There's none. You can return your offensive line and go next year, go into the same offensive line next year. But now it allows them to see, okay, this guy's falling. I'm going to go up 5 spots. That's the tackle that I want for the right side. Bang, you pulled the trigger on that. But I'm just going to warn everybody now. When you're picking at 31 and you're moving up 5 spots to 26, 28, maybe a little higher, maybe 22, those guys usually aren't plug-and-play players. So this is where it's crucial where that McKivic's extension came in, right? You have him. He's locked up for another year. I'm sure there's flexibility with his salary cap number. That's why they put the extension onto it. But worst comes to worst, he's your top backup across the whole line of scrimmage on the offense. So it's going to be interesting to see what route do they go. Do they go with the kid Kingsley from BYU? Do they go with Guyton? Do they go up higher and maybe try to get Mims? I'm just going to tell you right now, on film, those two guys, actually 3 of them, are all good, right? But 2 of them scared the shit out of me because they played minimal snaps. That's Mims and that's Guyton. Okay? I don't even think they started a full year for their respective teams. So that's what scares me. Georgia, top competition, but they're dominant. They're a powerhouse. So how much is he really facing in Mims? Guyton, Oklahoma, you're playing Texas, Oklahoma State, those types of teams, not top-notch competition. But how much did he face? So I think the learning curve for those two and getting up to the speed of the NFL game could be an issue with going in saying, okay, these could be potentially be plug-and-play guys.
Yeah.
So I'm not knocking them by all means. I think they're going to be good linemen, but I think they might need to sit a little bit to get acclimated to the NFL game. But it is what it is. I like those guys. I like all 3 of those guys.
Yeah.
But they can go corner.
Which I wouldn't be mad at. Yeah.
They can go wherever they want. They could even add another pass rusher. So whatever is their top guy on their board, they can use that 31 pick, move up, move back, and get that player. Now another situation that you could see. Let's say they stand pat at 31, and they don't feel all those guys that were within the trade distance were worth the move up. But if they were there at 31, they would have taken one of them. So let's say they're on the board and they move back. Now you stockpile day 2 picks, and now that's where you can get creative. You can really add pieces. Now you can move up and down because it doesn't cost you as much. So I honestly feel this team's tendency year in and year out since they've been together in San Francisco, minus the first year and minus the year with Trey Lance, they could go in and pretty much do what they
Yeah.
need to do.
And you know what, Tony, before we go to you to Mariah, thing about it too is like, I'm looking at our offensive line, and I think, think about Kyle, he loves continuity. And unless we get us like a dominant person in the draft, I see the starting line being exactly the same. I'm being honest. I see it being exactly the same. So yeah, you're right. Like if they're alignment, I mean, unless they're drafting a Trent Williams replacement, and they're like, going to sit him for a year, let him groom him, whatever the case may be, then I'm all for it. But yeah, I'm looking at it's going to be interesting. Like I feel like now that we've made these moves in free agency, I feel like this is just if I had to guess, our first round pick is either going to be offensive lineman or corner. And the reason why I say that is because I know we love our defensive ends, it's defensive tackles. I feel like getting these pickups, like we traded for one, first and foremost. We got one in free agency. Then we picked up two edges. And not only that, we still have Kalia Davis coming back, who still has some potential. Still got Drake Jackson, and you still got Robert Bill. So we're pretty. I'm gonna say we have all of our depth, but we're pretty set first and foremost for the depth that we need going forward. Because we already now we have two solidified edges. We still got Hargrave, and now it's going to be a battle of who wins that other D tackle spot. You know what I'm saying? So we can get us a corner because we haven't had. I mean, I know Javarius Ward is good, but we haven't drafted a dominant corner in such a long time. I can't remember the last time we drafted a corner that was dominant for us. Like it's always been free agency. So I would love to get us somebody. And I'm not saying, picking in the back end, it's rare that you get yourself a Patrick Surtain or, like a Darius Slade, the stuff like that. But, if you can luck out and get yourself somebody like a Darrell Reeves, for instance. He was picked like in the back end of the first round, and he ended up being a beast. Like if you can just get somebody who can go in and play corner, then I would love that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like before all these moves, it was kind of a joke of like me and Mariah were like, oh, we're going to go edge, aren't we? We're going to go D-tackle because that's just what our bread and butter has been. So he got symmetry saying he's not satisfied with Elliott and Collins playing, competing for D tackle, but you don't know. We've always had somebody in a Chris Kasarik who has gotten the best out of these guys. Now we have a solid edge, and that's been our problem. Like we haven't had a solid edge since D Ford. Now that we have one who can get you 10 sacks, that has proven he is giving you 10 sacks the last 3 or 4 years on average, that makes me feel better. So now not only have to worry about Bosa, you have somebody with some respect on his name on the other side of Bosa who the league knows. Then you got a special guy in Hargrave. I think whoever wins that other D tackle spot might be pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but obviously it's a wait and see approach. But yeah, I mean, I like the position we're in. We went from now, like I said, we start off with 11 draft picks. Now we have 10 because of that trade. So let's just see what happens, fam. And whatever we do, let's just keep our patience. Don't get angry. Oh, we should have got this. We should have got that. But like Tony was saying, offensive linemen for the most part, especially tackles, are usually dominant when they're drafted early. Usually top 10 talents. I don't think we're going to move up from 31 to 8 to get us one. I don't see that. Or even to 15, maybe 5 to 8 spots, which Tony said might be somebody who you sit for a year. It's not going to be ready to plug in right away. So expect this offensive line to remain the same to start the season because of the continuity that they have. But that's just my opinion.
No, it's you're 100% on. You're 100% on.
That's not going to be a popular opinion. Let me tell you that.
No, it's not. Definitely not. But it's the truth. You know what I mean? Or it could be the truth. So yeah.
Hashtag Purdy to enter the last giveaway. Hashtag Purdy all together. Anything else you guys want to talk about that we haven't touched on before we get out of here?
Just real quick, Tony. I know we agreed with the BYU quarterback. What is your if we don't go for a solidified quarterback like a vet like Ryan Tannehill, Joe Flacco in free agency, other than Keldon Slovis, who would you like as a quarterback in this draft? Because I like him, and I also like the guy to Tulane, Michael Pratt. I know there's a lot of backlash on the Spencer Rattler saying he gave up on his team and all this other stuff, but I don't know if I see a guy like that fitting on his team because of his style of play. I think Kyle's just like now he just wants like a pure pocket passer with a little bit of athleticism. So who would you like to see in the draft?
It's tough, man. It's tough. I would say I like the kid from BYU. I like the kid from Tulane, like you said. I like Leary from Kentucky. I like what I see from him. Nice arm, nothing crazy. He's not going to bomb it down the field. Plays within the structure of the offense. Is mobile, and those are the really that's worth really doing. It's a draft for all the other guys.
Yeah.
And that's where these guys are. They're in. It's going to be in the mid round.
Are you cutting out? I think you're cutting out a little bit, Tony. Chat, can you hear Tony at all?
It's like broken up.
Yeah. Oh, somebody in the chat put Joe Milton or Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman's another good one too from Notre Dame. Yeah, I think he froze. Are you there, Tony?
Yeah, I'm here. You hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you clear now.
All right, Hartman. Something about Hartman. I like what I saw from him at Notre Dame. He competed, but then there's throws and his throwing motion and some of the reads he was making. Sometimes it seems like he has the mentality of run first. Like he's like that. But if that first read isn't there, you see him and he breaks out the pocket. Milton has a massive arm, but a little unorthodox with the throwing motion. And will he play within the structure of the offense? This is what you need to find, right? That's why Brock Purdy has had success in San Francisco. I put Brock Purdy. I gave him a 6th round grade when we did the Nothing But Niners draft board.
Yeah.
I had him on the draft board as a 6th round grade. They took him in the last pick of the 7th round. Yeah. But you saw in college, like people don't realize he went blow for blow with Jalen Hurts.
He did.
Right? Everyone's raving about Jalen Hurts. What about Brock Purdy, who went blow for blow with him with a less quality team? Right? So you saw him play within the system. You saw his discipline. You saw his arm straight. He was benched once, came back, fought through that adversity, and turned out to be one hell of a quarterback.
Yeah.
But is he the Patrick Mahomes? Is he the Herbert? Is he the top
Burrows and all that?
No,
yeah.
He's not that guy. But he's a guy that will run your offense the way you want to run it and play within the structure of it and make plays and execute, right?
Yeah.
That's what you need in the NFL. Some people say, no, you need the top of the line guy. Well, I got news for you. It's only one of them, and that's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So if you're banking on that, keep banking because they don't come around that often. And to be honest with you, if you really dissect Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech, they were a 500 team.
They were.
So I don't know what everyone's saying, oh, the Niners should have drafted him. So, I mean, they had a plan in place. They wanted Kirk Cousins. It didn't come to fruition, and they didn't do their due diligence on their quarterbacks. Was that their fault? Yes. Would they go back and do it again? They would do their due diligence? Absolutely. But if you have a plan in place, why are you going to vary it just to take a shot on Kirk Cousins? Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Right? We don't know.
We don't, And just to end this, I know we're trying to do the last giveaway, but that's why I kind of like, you look at the Brock Purdy situation, he was at Iowa State all 4 years. He started, a ton of games. And I say that with Michael Pratt, like he's been at Tulane since his freshman year, been a 4-year starter, been in the same program for 4 years. He was a team that upset the USC Trojans in 2023 in that bowl game. Remember when, and everybody was kind of shocked, like, man, I thought USC was going to win. Like he has arm talent, he's not the biggest guy. He's like 6'2", stuff like that. But I can see him in a similar situation as Purdy just because he has so many starts under his belt. And and one thing I'm going to trust is Brian Gracie if he gets to handpick the guy. Because he handpicked Brock Purdy, him and Bobby Slowick, and they did a heck of a job. So if Brian Greasy can sit there and they trust, what they did with Purdy, obviously, if he says, look, after evaluating the quarterbacks, this is the guy I like, then you take him. And I can see us going quarterback as early as round 4, depending on the needs that we filled in the draft in the earlier rounds.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You draft a quarterback in round 4 and
I think we'd be okay with that.
Up in arms thinking that they're drafting him to compete with Brock.
I'm going to tell you this: they better start. Unfortunately, they better look at the running back because Christian McCaffrey
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to make a decision with him. I'm not saying
Yeah.
cut him, but I think he has 1 or 2 more years on his contract.
Yeah.
So if you don't have somebody in place, and I know, like, Jordan Mason is what he is. He's a phenomenal. He's a good running back for an undrafted free agent, right? So they're going to have to somehow add a piece. And I know people are going to get pissed, maybe not in the 3rd round, but if there's someone there in the 5th, 6th round, I would take a flyer. Remember, they took Elijah Mitchell in the 6th round.
6th round, yeah. And Jordan Mason wasn't even drafted, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying high, but I mean, I'll tell you right now, and I said this to Mike, and he kind of like gave me the look. I swear to God, you put Trey Benson on this team from Florida State. I'm sorry. It's good, bro. He's a good running back. But I'm not saying we're doing it, but I would love to see Trey Benson on this team.
Ty. No, I get it. And the reason, and fam, the reason why Chat had first round is funny. So Chat, the reason why I say a quarterback as high as the 4th is because we have a 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd. So we have a pick on day. We have a 1st round pick, and we have 2 picks on day 2. Round 4, we got 3 picks, 3 of them. We have pick from Dallas for the Trey Lance thing. Pick 131 and 133 are compensatory. So that's going down to our 5th and 6th picks. So if we've addressed offensive line, we've addressed corner, maybe even let's just say a wide receiver. Let's just say those to me are like our main needs, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So if you go after those 3 and you see a quarterback who's maybe was ranked in your top 100 and they fell, and you're at pick 133. I don't see why you don't take a chance, especially because you only got 2 quarterbacks signed right now under contract. So if you can get a top 100 quarterback on your board at pick 130 or 150, I think you take a chance on it with 3 4th round picks. Because you look at every other position, and I know you look at how it's all going down. Our starters, for the most part, our starting positions are filled. Let's just be honest here. So even if you get somebody else, and I know I look at Mimi B, you look at Danny Gray, you look at Jalen Hurd. We've bombed in the 3rd round for wide receivers too. But what I'm saying is, in my opinion, offensive line, corner, and wide receiver to me are needs, just because like our wide receiver room, you can always use a wide receiver. You know what I mean? Always use a wide receiver. But to me, I feel like with quarterback just being Purdy and Brandon Allen, if you don't pick up nobody in free agency, it's a higher need than we expect. Just because our quarterback room, to me, I'm not feeling it right now.
Yeah. What's up, Nick? He said, you guys need to get Newsome from us and screw the draft. Like, I
heard his name a couple times.
I'd be happy if we could trade and get Newsome and have a starting, our starting cornerback trio be Charvarius Ward, Diamador Lenore, and Newsome. I'm great heading into the season with that starting cornerback core. As long as it's not those 2 that I mentioned and Ambry Thomas to start the season, we do need to do something about that.
Yeah.
Tony, I know you said you got to get out of here. So if you need to drop, you're more than welcome. I appreciate you so much for coming on with us. We definitely need to not just do it, once every year and a half. We need to do
come on.
More.
As long as my schedule's good, I'll come on with you guys. I like talking with you guys.
Yeah. You said you're on Graveyard now, right?
Yeah, Graveyard. Yep.
Okay. Well, so am I. So it works out.
My set days off are Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night.
Okay.
So
sounds good. All right.
Let me know. Keep in touch. Drafts coming here. There's a lot to talk about. The agency's not over by all means. So
no, it's not.
Oh no.
Don't think it's done.
We're only 2 hours into this.
I'll be honest with you. I think they had 2 more pieces in free agency. And then they go into the draft, and then it's all from there. And then the June 1st cuts could be a scenario where they get a couple other pieces that they couldn't find in the draft, or potentially an upgrade from something that they added. So I think, listen, Mike Silver's been saying all the things he's been saying that have been hitting. And he just tweeted out after they signed or they did that trade that they're still working on things. So that tells me they're still working on things, but that tells me that they're doing their thing. They're trying to improve this roster, right?
Yeah.
You're doing it with people that are looking to go with the 2-year deal. Now, people are saying, why are we going for all these old guys? Well, they're not technically that old, but
No,
a
they're not.
30-year-old or a 31-year-old is not looking. You're not signing him to a 5-year deal,
Right.
4-year deal. It's 2 years.
Mhm.
And I bet you if you dissect that contract, there's probably a way out of the second year.
Probably, yeah.
So the thing is this: just these guys know what they're doing. And side note, I know this is a 49er channel, but Peters is killing it in Washington right now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's doing his thing.
He is building that roster. He's putting people in places to help set the culture and be coaches on the field, if you will, and help this transition to that team. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they're doing good. He's doing good things. I'm dying to see what he does in the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey
I'm
Tony, before you
definitely
head
excited
out, you
for that.
said you might do two different moves. What moves are you thinking maybe that we look at?
There's some pieces on the corner market that I think they might try to take a look at or try to do. One of them is a trade from Cleveland. I forgot the guy's name. The corner.
Newsom you're talking about?
Newsom, yeah. It's been being posted all day on social media, and this I'm just getting this reading stuff and social media and stuff like that. That he's on the market and they're fielding calls. If they can pull something like that, I'm not sure what his numbers are contract wise or where he is with that. That'd be a nice piece because I was a big guy. I wanted them to add more from the Colts. Moore the third, Kenny Moore the third.
Oh yes,
On
yes.
Mhm.
He is an excellent. He is an excellent. Go over there, bud. He is an excellent nickel corner. But I'm sorry, $10 million a year, like
Yeah, he
for
got
a
paid.
nickel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what happens when your cap goes up by so much. Teams are going to pay. So I mean, credit to them. Credit to them. They kept him in there, and he's part of that team. That's good. But
Yeah.
I just think they're going to be in the market for. I think they might shock you and go offensive lineman somewhere.
Okay. I like it.
I'm just saying, and why I'm saying it. Stop it. Why I'm saying this is they don't have Feliciano back under contract yet.
Hmm.
So the move could be just simply re-signing Feliciano, or the move could be bringing somebody else in. But there's nobody on the market for tackle. I don't see.
No.
I know everyone's saying Jonah Williams. I think his name's from
Oh yeah.
the Bengals.
Yeah. And then you got Tyron Smith too. That's still available, right?
Tyron Smith. I would stay away from Tyron Smith due to
Yeah.
injuries. Nothing personal.
Correct.
But I mean, hypothetically, I would just call me crazy. I would take a 1-year deal, put some incentives on it, and say, Mekhi Becton, get your ass in here. This is your last shot.
Mm.
Just
Okay.
try it. Just try it. Right? There's no guarantees, nothing like that. Give them an opportunity to compete. You might strike gold.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy needs a new scenario. I mean, it might not be because he played in a similar system with the Jets, but just take a shot. I mean, the kid's good. I mean, the kid has the talent, but the commitment is the problem, and the work ethic is the problem, and that's not going to fly here. I really would have loved to see them get John Runyon from Green Bay to play the guard spot. He got paid a decent money, decent contract, but at least you know that this guy could be successful in this system and knows the foundation of the blocking scheme. So it would be a smooth transition. They didn't go that route. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, maybe a safety they might add. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Appreciate your input.
Yeah, no doubt. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on.
Yes, someone asked me a question here. I forgot. I think it was Melissa about Diamador Lenore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If Lenore, they're gonna, I don't know. They're gonna have to keep Lenore right now penciled in as the starting nickel corner. The question is, who goes outside? I kind of feel they saw enough of Ambry Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they go with the rookie from last year,
Darrell
Luter. Maybe they see where he's at right now because before
and he has size too. I think he's a pretty big guy.
Before he got hurt, I heard he was doing great in camp.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's see where he's at. Full off season in the weight room, training, stuff like that. Let's see where he's at. But I mean, listen, if they can get a piece, I keep going back. Could you stop with that thing?
Gotta love the kids.
Oh my God. I love them, but jeez.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
If you could, my thing is the sleeper would be Tre'Davious White.
Oh, I would love to. The guy from the
But
Bills.
they
before his
have
ACL?
they have to dig deep on his medical.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's young, he's talented, 2 back-to-back big injuries. But
Was it the
if
same
you're
injury,
willing-
Tony? Was it
Huh?
Was it the same injury?
I think it was an Achilles and an
And then an
ACL.
ACL? Yeah. And I think he's only like 27, 28 years old. He's still fairly young, you know.
He's young, but the
Yeah.
thing is this, right? They take shots on Verrett.
Yeah.
Bring this guy in, look at his medical. If you see positive, offer him a 1-year deal, a chance to prove himself, and he gets paid next year.
Yeah.
You take a shot like that. I'm not saying go out and trade. Like, there was rumors saying that the Niners might trade for, what's his name, Snead from the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to happen. Yeah, I don't think that's going to
That
happen.
they can't afford that, nor would I give up a 2nd-round pick because we have so many things that we need to address on our roster. But I'm not saying he's not worth it, but this team needs to do things because of the lack of picks in previous years.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting. So
Yeah,
I'm really
I stand corrected too, Tony. Tre'Davious White, he just turned 29 in January. So that's, yeah, I don't know. But like you said, though, check out his medicals, see what he is. You know, like the thing that's different between him and Jason Verrett. Jason Verrett had this injury like 4 years in a row. Like he was just back to back to back. But you know, him 2 back-to-back injuries, at least they're different. Where I feel like Jason Verrett's had the same injury. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Worth a shot, I guess.
We'll see.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, get Miriah.
No, go ahead.
No, I said, yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, someone just posted in here, Dalton Reisner. That's somebody I liked coming out, but he really struggled in the run game. And it's kind of odd because he's a big physical dude to not be able to get push in the run game. I find it odd, but maybe he needs to be in a zone scheme where he could use his agility and get out and seal off rather than a power gap scheme where it's a one-on-one block and you need to literally turn your man off the line of scrimmage to create the hole. That's somebody they could take a shot on a low, a 1-year deal like what Minnesota did. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I could sit here all day and talk, but someone needs to do their homework.
Yeah.
All right, Tony. Appreciate you.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
let me know. I'll come on again with you guys.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Bye, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bye.
Take care.
All right. Hashtag Purdy to get into the last giveaway for the Brock Purdy card and the Vernon Davis patch card. Get in there because we're going to draw right now. It's okay, Bash. No worries. No worries. Let me share this. All right. Hashtag Purdy, like you see it on the screen. Last call.
There's 20
Good luck.
entries for this giveaway, so
We're drawing Purdy first and then Vernon. So good luck. Maria, the Chiefs fan, wins you guys' Brock Purdy card. Sorry for you. Congrats, Maria. And
Maria. Oh, maybe only Tanya and Bash will get this reference. Do you remember that song by 3 Times Crazy called Maria? If you do, put yes in the chat. I know you guys know what I'm talking about.
all right. Now for the Vernon Davis. Good luck.
Oh,
Tanya, make them say, ow. Congrats. Congrats. Congrats.
Tanya, you never fail me when it comes to music.
She never
Awesome.
fails me when it comes to anything.
That's true.
Closing thoughts before we get out of here.
Nothing. Like you said, today's the first official day of the new year. Let's be patient, fam. It's only been literally 48 hours of free agency. So let's be patient,
It's
see
only
what
been
happens.
actually 2 official hours of free agency. Just
Yeah,
started at
as
1
far as
o'clock
being
our
able to
time.
sign them, yeah. So it's 2 days since you were able to agree to contracts, but 2 hours of free. So yeah, let's just stay patient. It's not over yet. We still got about 5 weeks until the draft. There's going to be some cuts going on here and there, but I just hope that like I said, as long as they do their work and they extend. I know it's probably going to be a while, but I hate that we have to wait. But you know, take care of your own people. Get Brandon Ayuk under contract. Get Juwan Jennings under contract. Bring in a veteran offensive guard or a tackle, regardless of what you guys think, and let's just play smart about it. And then, and then come draft time, we'll see what happens. Let's, like everybody keeps saying, this draft is so crucial because we're having an aging roster and the Kittle and the Trent Williams. Trent Williams pretty much said he's coming back in 2024, which is a blessing because we'd be in trouble if he was leaving. So, he's coming back. So yeah, let's just, like I said, be patient and hope for the best. And like I said, I think everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, I'm definitely not too worried considering, like I said, it's only been 2 official hours of free agency, so we can't expect all these moves to already be done and next year's team to already be set, and people are freaking out because we didn't get this guy and didn't get that guy and we got this hole and we got that hole, and it's just like, oh my God, like we still have a whole rest of the offseason, the whole damn draft to go through. Like, calm down, people. Calm the fuck down, okay?
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, but chat, you guys are amazing as always. I appreciate each and every one of you. I know we had a few new people in the chat today, so welcome. We appreciate you guys being here. I like to do shows, for those that are new, at least 2 to 3 times a week. Me and TL go live once a week. We do our giveaways when we're on here together. I go live on Thursdays with Steph Sanchez for the 2 Goat Show at 3 Pacific time. And then, I try to do a random show in there. I'm looking to set up something permanent, a new permanent show moving forward. So that's all in the works. And yeah, we'll just get through this off season. It's going to be ups and downs, but we're here. We're going to get through it together. So yeah, much love. Everybody, please stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekends. And those that are tuning in to the Good 2 Goat Show, I'll see y'all tomorrow, 3 Pacific time. We're out of here. Till then, faithful.
All right, faithful. Take care, man.